Tara, I'm going to start with you.
Thank you.
South Carolina is the next big contest for Nikki Haley to try to stop Trump, but she's down double digits. No big surprise to Trump in most polls, even in her own home state. Her Hail Mary, Tara, is a combo of anti-Trump Republicans, some independents, and maybe Democrats who aren't going to vote in their own primary today. Should we expect a campaign suspension speech in the next few days from her?
Well, a Hail Mary is accurate here. I mean, she's down by a considerable amount, and I don't know anyone in recent political history who's come back from a deficit like that to win their own home state. And you notice that she's been tamping down expectations, saying she doesn't need to win in order to move on. And I think that's probably more realistic. If she comes within, let's say, 10 percentage points or so, she still has a case, I think, with her donors to continue to troll Trump because of the way the delegates are dispersed. But when Super Tuesday comes, there's going to be a significant amount of delegates going to Donald Trump. So the only hope that she has really is if something happens with Donald Trump getting convicted in a case later on and she has some delegates and then there's some kind of shenanigans at the convention. But this is wish casting. Let's all be honest about this here. Ted Cruz tried this back in 2016. It didn't work out so well. And the MAGAs, the Trump acolytes in the Republican Party that are dispersed throughout the states, have rigged the system for him and changed a lot of the states from proportionate winners to winner take all for delegates so that they could load it up front for Trump and make it a difficult gap to make up. So, she can try whatever she wants to do. But what they're trying to do in South Carolina with some, the open primary system there, which I'm all for, by the way. I think that weeds out the crazies. But I know the Democrats don't want Democrats going and voting for Nikki Haley to try to upset things and kind of do like an Operation Chaos like Rush Limbaugh used to push back in the day. They don't really want that because it doesn't really work, and they really need to have a strong showing for Joe Biden to keep any of those, some of those concerns that they have that they need to alleviate, kind of make sure he has a strong showing. So we'll see what happens, but she's going to lose by a lot.
Rick, I wanted our viewers to get a quick look at the latest Lincoln Project ad on Trump's rhetoric. Take a quick listen.
We will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives.
I mean, look, you can't escape what we're watching there. It's truly what Trump promises. I have to ask, is Lincoln Project having to take a different tack with Trump in 2024 because some people just aren't getting it?
We actually have an expanded range of voters who are responsive to an anti-Trump message than we did in 2020. In 2020, depending on the state, we model between 3 and 8% of Republican and independent-leaning conservative voters could be reached and moved by our message. In the environment we're in now, where Trump is obviously insane, he's an adjudicated rapist, he is a guy who planned a coup to overthrow the U.S. election in the last time. He helped kill 500,000 people by fumbling COVID. People get it. They understand now in a broader way. And he's the guy walking around bragging that he killed Roe versus Wade, when a meaningful percentage of Republican women are actually pro-choice, either fully pro-choice like Roe v. Wade pro-choice, or libertarian pro-choice like stay the hell out of my bedroom, Donald, pro-choice. And so we believe now the number is between 7 and 11%, depending on the state, in our models. We think there's a larger audience now. It is important, though, that a key audience in America not normalize Trump anymore. And most of those folks still in the media who treat this like it's a normal Republican and a normal Democrat fighting over normal things. It's not. It's one guy who is insane and dangerous and one guy who is old but doing a good job.
Tara, let's talk about the latest jobs report, and let's talk about what Joe Biden is doing and doing well, blowing away market expectations, with even former director of the National Economic Council under Trump, Larry Kudlow, saying, I know many of my conservative friends are trying to drill holes in it, but you know what, folks? It's what it is, a very strong report. Tara, the economy is always something that is number one when you poll voters as to what their concerns are the most, whether they're Democrat or Republican. But that's the reality, a spectacular jobs report versus what Republicans are peddling to their followers.
I'm so happy we're talking about the jobs report because every day that this new economic news has come out, I've been tweeting at the Biden campaign saying, this should be front page news. You guys should be leading every single day with this, screaming it from the rooftops, because we know how things are covered impacts voter behavior and the impression and attitudes of the American people. Because most people, they're not going to dig into the crosstabs of economic reports. They're going to read headlines. And this kind of information, this news needs to be blasted across all the front pages, should be leading the networks, because we're actually doing pretty damn good economically. Not only was this a great jobs report, so much so that you have, like you said, Larry Kudlow and conservative economists acknowledging it, but we're also leading the world in oil production. We broke records in oil production and have since last year, more so than with Trump. So their economic issue, their domestic oil issue that they're trying to pin on Biden, that message is undercut. Inflation is down to 3-point-something% from 9% a year ago. We have unemployment at lows again. Gas prices are under $3. The Biden economy is strong. And they need to lead with this, because we know that people vote on kitchen table issues. A lot of times that's what impacts people every day. I mean, Rick and I talk about the importance of democracy and how we need to protect that, because it's so important, because none of this matters if we lose it to an authoritarian fascist like Donald Trump. But most people don't think about every day, wake up and think about, oh, how's my democracy today? They think about the economy and how it impacts them. So I'm thrilled to see that the economy is moving this way. The economic indicators are usually, the consumer indicators are lags. So as people start paying attention more to this and the media starts covering it with the vim and verve that they should, thank you for doing it, Katie, I think people will start to see that actually Joe Biden's been a great president and the economy's pretty good.
Rick, I got less than 60 seconds and people telling me I got to wrap, but I let you have the last word. Breaking news coming out this morning. House Republicans are going to vote on an impeachment measure for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas on Monday at 4 o'clock. Let it rip, Rick.
It's going to go over, as most of their other impeachment shenanigans have gone over, like a wet fart in a hot car. No one's going to care. It's going to mean nothing, do nothing, and be nothing in the end, except a grotesque embarrassment for a group of people who keep digging down further to try to reach the lowest level of grotesque embarrassments.
Relinquish what remains of the old spark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
And this was just a diversion.
Security may bring up.
Rabbit, she's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. What's readiness? What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We're facing a heavy, sustained attack. They appear to be after the All Spark. General!